After gun season, a lot of people just quit hunting. The majority of people do. It's only your diehards that really keep pounding. And even them, a lot of them are tagged out, so they don't hunt that late. Because of that, there's not a lot of information out there about second rut. So where I live, gun season is Thanksgiving week. It's Saturday to Sunday, 9 days. So it's the end of the month of November. Our rut it usually peaks the last week of October, first week of November. And second rut kind of kicks in gear 28 days later, 1 month. So the end of November, early December. Right when our gun season ends. And at that same time, the day gun season ends, the next day muzzleloader season starts. So our muzzleloader season is usually in a good time frame for second rut. Now second rut is a little funny. It's when fawns go into heat. It's when does that didn't get bred go into heat, usually in an unbalanced population where there's too many does, they don't all get bred, and some of them will go into heat a second time. But it doesn't have the intensity of the first rut. And by that, what I mean is, in the first rut, they're all excited. They're finally going to get the breed. They're chasing around. They're going crazy. As it tapers off, the second rut kind of starts kicking in. And really, they don't have the intensity. They're following the does. They're trying to breed them. There's little peaks and valleys. But it isn't the, 7 deer in a day going past you cruising on a ridge kind of rut. It's more, you hunt where the food sources are, where the doe fawns are going, and the bucks are following them. So you get more of that evening time, just before dark, early morning kind of action. So I had some cameras running at Dave's farm. And I was picking up some pretty nice bucks that were checking on the doe fawns. I kind of put the cameras in an area where I thought there's a lot of doe fawns this year, and I thought I would pick up some bucks, and I did. And there was enough of them coming through where I thought if I had a reusable setup, I could hunt under a few different times and go after them. And what I mean by a reusable setup is that on this farm, on a south wind, I can swing all the way around on the north side, swing into my tree that's on a fence line where they usually don't come across that fence line when they're going through. They go horizontal to me. And I could hunt that spot, have the deer pass by, slip back out of there without the deer ever knowing I was there. Now eventually they start to figure you out. Well, it ain't a bad tactic if you got a good spot and you're waiting for something to happen. Like waiting for one of these does to really peak and the bucks to start coming out a little earlier. Gun season ended yesterday, and I was going to drive all morning, and then in the evening head out to stand. It was raining all day, and we got done with the last drive. The guys wanted to do one more, and that last drive's a good one. We never got to it, and I caved in and said, yeah, let's do it. So we went and did that last drive, and that took us till dark. So I never made it to stand. Where I was going to hunt is I was going to give Dave's one more try, because I got a big buck that keeps showing up here every now and then. And I know towards the end of the week, if this place is left alone, I've been pretty much leaving alone when I come in here. I just hunt this overlooking stance where I'm not really walking around the property doing damage. I'm not shooting does or anything. I slip in, slip out to the sides. And I figured at the end of the week something would show up down here, but I got a couple cell cams out here, and they've been showing a little bit of action. A couple days I had good bucks in daylight, and it was mostly at the beginning of the week. Kind of dead at the end. The last weekend, everybody was driving around here, and that pushes the deer into here because nobody's allowed on this property but me. So while we were doing the drives yesterday, this cell cam took a picture of a new buck I haven't seen before. And actually I got a picture of him in front of the farm coming in, and then a couple pictures of him here laid
later on, and he was with a fawn. Now, I've never seen that buck before, but if he's here to breed that fawn, there's a good chance he sticks with her a day or two. So I'm really hoping she comes in this evening and he follows her. Now, there's been a group of doe fawns coming in here daily, and there's been some young bucks following her. They're following them, chasing them around, grunting and stuff. I'm hoping he comes back when they come back, like the younger bucks have been doing. We'll see. I'm hunting with Dave today. I'm sitting next to where his ashes are left. And I took his gun so he can be out here hunting. I took his muzzle loader. He left it for me. I feel like it's still his. I've never used it before except for to shoot it once to see if it was on. See if it brings me some luck if he's sitting here with me. This is Dave's old muzzle loader. It's the same kind as mine, except for mine's stainless steel. His isn't. I noticed he had black pellets for it too, where I got white ones for mine, like smokeless, so I don't know. Hopefully we can film through the smoke. Assuming the black ones smoke. I don't know much about muzzle loaders. Shot a couple does with them. Never shot a buck with a muzzle loader. Maybe we can change that today. A small buck just came out among the trees about 100 yards from me, come out of the bedding area. And it was acting very, very nervous and kept looking back. Came out, went down further and snuck back into a different section of the bedding area. I have to think that the big buck's in there walking around. I don't know why else it'd be that nervous. So I'm hoping he pops out. The first thing to pop out of the bedding area was an adult doe. After the doe passed through, this fawn doe came following its trail. It's probably her fawn. And it was acting really nervous and kept watching the brush behind it. Just before dark, some young bucks came out and were chasing the fawns around. They were making their way over the hill, and I was trying to wait for them to get out of sight and sound so I could slide out of the tree. It got too dark to film or to hunt, and I was just waiting to get down, and I was waiting for one more doe and fawn to clear the hill. And as they were walking over the hill, I saw them stop and lock on something to their left. And when I looked over there, I could see a dark spot that wasn't there before. And then when it moved, it grunted and started coming at the fawn, and I could see a pretty good rack on it. But I really couldn't tell for sure if it was a target buck, but it was a pretty good buck, for sure.
I got deer up and moving already. I just had 2 of them come over the hill up there and then start running this way. I can still see another walking. They just went down into the bedding area. I'm wondering if they're getting chased by a buck. It's good they're moving this early. Oh, there's one still standing there. It's going into the bedding area now too. See if they come back out. Watching to see if a buck comes over the hill. They ran over the hill right here, and they went into the woods right there, and there's a bedding area right there. There's a bedding area over the hill too, so something spooked them out of there. And last time that big buck came from that bedding area over there. Just too dark to shoot when he came out. The buck that was following him is going over right now. He's going in right there. I couldn't see how big his rack is. I didn't get the binoculars up fast enough. He just went in on the far end. Hopefully he comes this way. He's about 200 or 300 yards over there. I knew there had to be a buck over there. Not sure if he's a shooter. There's one right behind that green bush. And they're moving early today.
got these fawns that are apparently, going into heat. They keep coming out in this opening here, and a lot of bucks checking on them. Now, getting them to move in daylight is kind of tough, but I've been close. Yesterday I had one go across the hill out of range. I didn't get a good look at it, but it was a big animal. And a few days before that, I had a real big one come in over here. And it came well within range, grunting at the fawns, but by the time it got over here, it was too late to shoot. It was after closing. And now sliding out here today to get here. And what I like about this spot is, if I come in here on a south wind, which is what I've been doing, I can get to here and never get my scent over where the deer move. But last night, I noticed that one of the doe fawns went right underneath me to get back there when I went through, which is a little worrisome. The deer will pick up my scent, the bucks or whatever. And now this evening when I come in, there is a brand new giant rub right underneath the tree. That was not there yesterday. Hopefully that's a sign that he's relaxed.
I just watched a buck walk across that ridge way out there. That's where I saw the buck go through after the doe and fawn yesterday. So 2 days in a row. By the time I got the binoculars up, he was in the woods, so I never got a look at how big he is. Hopefully he shows up down here before dark. We don't have much time left.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't get a buck. I never took a shot, but I had fun trying. There were bucks coming through. I was just missing them a little bit. They'd be there the day I'm not, so forth. No regrets, but I kind of wonder if I would have just abandoned those cameras and went and did what I usually do, and went did some island bouncing, so bouncing around different areas, if I'd have had a little better success. Don't know. But on to late season.